We often talk about using the power of our UU faith to transform the world. But sometimes, before we can reach out, we need to look within. And that's exactly what First Parish in Cambridge, Massachusetts, decided to do in its transformation to multicultural ministry.
When I arrived at First Parish in Cambridge in 2008, the congregation had had almost 4 centuries of unbroken white European American ministry.
Well, the surrounding communities of Cambridge and Somerville are very diverse, and there's been a large influx of immigrants over the last couple of decades, particularly Latina, Portuguese, Haitian. We talked about the importance of diversity, that we wanted to become diverse.
It wasn't just about bringing a new minister in with a different perspective or a different color skin. It's about transformation. It's about changing the culture of the congregation. Because if we don't change the culture of the congregation, a new minister from outside that culture is going to struggle. So we had a lot of preparation to do.
Ultimately, it's all about changing how people think about the church, changing how people feel. And so that's a process.
And a crucial part of that process was discovering the diversity of ministry team at the UUA.
When I found out about the Diversity of Ministry Initiative, I was immediately sold. And they've been a tremendous help. They advised us throughout the process, held our hands.
Really gave us the chance to sit down and have conversations of real depth. One of our biggest fears, I think, was getting over the financial aspects of it, that we could afford to do this. But hidden behind that, I think, was fears of, was this something we really wanted to do? Were we just saying we wanted to do it because it was the right thing to do? Or was it really what was in our hearts? And as we went through the discussions, it became clear this was who we really wanted to be.
The search committee at First Parish presented, and the congregation voted, to call Reverend Lilia Cuervo as associate minister. Her installation brought ministers and friends from far and wide, and a chance to affirm the new commitment.
We call you to demonstrate, by word and example, both the way to multiculturalism and multi-ethnicity, and of courage, which calls us to account before love, acceptance, and justice. Somos del barco, somos del mar, navego en ti, tú navegaste en mí. We are the boats. We are the boats. We are the sea. I stay with you. I stay with you. You stay with me.
Of course, even after years of discussion and preparation and this successful search, this journey is really just beginning.
It wasn't just a question that we've called a new associate minister and now suddenly we're going to be a diverse congregation, and that she's going to take care of it and people will come because of her. That it's a congregational-wide responsibility, that we all have to look at how are we being welcoming, how are we interacting with the community when we do our social justice work.
Certainly it needs to be central to the vision of worship.
You have to have worship that is spirit-filled, that is enlivened.
Do your work.
Then step back.
The only path to serenity. A lot of Unitarian Universalist worship is boring, and we can't afford that any longer. Our music has become more diverse and more lively. Every Sunday, I lead at least one song or hymn without the hymnal.
I've got love like the ocean. I've got love like the ocean.
And a lot of the songs that we lead outside of the hymnal, from the folk tradition, from the African American spiritual tradition, from civil rights songs, a whole range of music, and get people really present to it.
But whether it's Sunday worship or the other work of the church during the week, there are challenges in transformation.
The most difficult part is the preconceptions, the prejudices that people have. People are, including me, ignorant about other cultures. So to try to open to other cultures, to appreciate other cultures, not to tolerate, but to really understand, get to love, and get to embrace other cultures. It's beautiful work, but it takes time and it takes effort.
My greatest hope is to really see lay leaders and individuals in the congregation come into their own sense of diversity, their own sense of being rooted in a multicultural community.
Because if you invite somebody in and say, well, you're welcome to be here, but only on our terms, only if you change to fit our norms, that's not going to work. That's not authentic hospitality. You have to be open to transformation, to be changed by the conversation.
I truly believe that Unitarian Universalism is the religion for our time, but in order to do that, we'll need to make ourselves relevant to what America, what the world looks like. And I see that happening at First Parish with a tremendous amount of energy and commitment and joy.
And one thing that I love in this place, in this first congregation, is that the word love is expressed often and freely, and it permeates almost everything that we do and say, and that is something that is rare to find. And so, what else can you desire from a congregation?